President Trump and America First at Davos. More than a dozen high-level members of the administration are arriving here to discuss economics, trade, cybersecurity, and a lot more with the political and corporate leaders gathered here. Joining me right now is the United States Secretary of Energy, Secretary Rick Perry. Secretary, it's great to see you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us. The President's America First message, how do you think it will be received?
Well, I think you have to understand what America First means to the President and the administration. And it's really pretty simple from my perspective. This is about America being competitive around the globe. When folks are thinking about where you want to buy your energy from, where do you want that next load of LNG to come from, we want you to think about America first.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Well, the President has stressed really tapping into our oil reserves in America. Let's talk about that and where the opportunities are from your standpoint.
Well, you think about 10 plus years ago, in 2005, we were beside ourselves, if you will, and behind. Other places were where the oil and gas was coming from. You know, we had found it all, peak oil.
That's right.
We heard all of those stories. And then, you know, by the grace of God and some technology and a guy by the name of George Mitchell from Texas, hydraulic fracturing came into play in a really big way, and we were able to go into those tight shell formations and develop that, which is now creating an absolute revolution in the oil and gas industry and completely changing the geopolitical dynamics in the world, with America being at the forefront. We are now the #1 oil and gas producing nation on the face of the earth. I mean, who would have thought that a decade ago, that would have been true? But it puts us in a very unique place. And here's what I try to share with all of our allies and for all of the audience here at Davos, is that the United States is not just exporting energy. We're exporting freedom. We're exporting to our allies in Europe the opportunity to truly have a choice of where do you buy your energy from. That's freedom. And that kind of freedom is priceless.
I think this is a really important point that you're making, because for a long time America was reliant on places like Saudi Arabia and Russia to get energy. But today it's a completely different situation in America. How significant is it? I mean, how would you characterize the supply that will be coming from the U.S. onto the global market?
You know, I'm not sure anything since World War II has been any more dynamic, from my perspective, than the shift in energy supply, energy control, if you will. And again, the United States isn't about controlling a country with this energy. It's about literally freeing up our allies around the world, letting them know that we're going to be there for them. There's no strings attached when you buy American LNG. So that's world changing. And truly, this president, that's his message here, is that the United States it's a new day. The fossil fuels that we're going to be relying on for decades to come are going to be available. Now, is our technology going to be able to allow us to use it wiser with better results for the environment? Absolutely. The CCU, the carbon capture and utilization, we're doing projects with Saudi Arabia. I'll see my counterpart, Khalid Al-Fallah, today on a panel. We'll talk about the projects that we're working on together. The UAE, Qatar, all of those countries, as we come together to develop and supply the rest of the world with the power so that they can have manufacturing, that they can, in Africa, being able to, you know, literally turn the lights on when the sun goes down so that their children can read, their people are safer. I mean, all of that is partly because of American ingenuity and our ability to not believe the naysayers that peak oil is here and you're not going to find any more of it.
So is there a way to characterize the amount of supply that will be coming from the U.S.?
Well, you know, I hesitate to be a forecaster of what all markets are going to be. I'll leave that up to people that are substantially more into that from the standpoint.
Oh, come on. You're the energy secretary.
My job is to make sure that it's the abundant supply, and I want to get people together so that they know that America is going to be a reliant supplier of that energy. The price will work itself out.
Are you surprised where prices are, by the way? Because it feels like the markets are focused more on the potential for terrorism or disruption, where oil is right now.
Well, those are realities of the world.
Yes.
But the fact is that we have an amazing supply. I mean, you think about Anwar, that the Congress just opened up again. You know, the previous administration had closed it down. Congress, working with the administration, said, you know what, those 9 billion barrels are really important to the United States and to the world. So opening up markets that the previous administration had closed, I think it sent a very powerful message around the world that we're going to be a reliant supplier of energy into the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. And I think that's why there's change happening in Saudi Arabia.
Indeed.
There's incredible change happening in other countries because they see what to expect from the U.S. By the way, what was behind the decision not to drill off of the coast of Florida?
You know, I think that the administration, through the Department of Interior, sensitive to the issues there. There's plenty of space out there, whether it's in the Gulf, whether it's in ANWR, whether it's in other areas, that we can develop the energy resource we have. You know, the people of Florida said, hey, listen, we don't want to add any new drilling platforms. The administration respected that. And that was okay with the powers that be. Let me ask you about the president's news this week, and that is these tariffs on solar panels and on washing machines. There is some conversation happening, as you know, about worries about potential trade wars, about what China will do in response. Should we worry about a different trade stance from this administration? You shouldn't be worrying about this administration from the standpoint of transparency and fairness. That's what Donald Trump's all about. You want to compete against the United States? Bring it. But don't subsidize in a way that is unfair. Don't get into the market and try to gobble up all the market, and then all of a sudden, after you've choked everybody else out of the market, guess what? Prices go up. This is a president that says, look, I get it about competition, but you're going to compete fairly, and you're going to compete on a level playing field. And the president has said that as it relates to jobs as well. And when you look at the energy story, that's a real job creator. Can you characterize what we might see from all of the drilling and the fracturing that will happen in terms of job creation? Well, it's going to continue on. I mean, that's obviously for the states. And consistency. And it's not just the jobs right in those states where it's happening. It's upstream. It's downstream from that. It's the manufacturing. We think there is an incredible potential in the Appalachian region to turn that area into an absolute job-creating giant with the development of the Marcellus Shale, with the other fossil fuels that are available there. You could duplicate the footprint of what you see along the Texas Gulf Coast in that Appalachian region and the jobs that get created. I can promise you the governor of West Virginia and Ohio and Kentucky and Pennsylvania, they're going to be standing there saluting that and saying, Mr. President, let's go make this happen. Let's go make America great again. And these are high-paying jobs. Indeed they are. How do you like the job? How do you like the role of Energy Secretary? What's new that you can tell us? Most interesting job I've ever had. Best job I ever had was governor of Texas, but this one's the most interesting and the coolest job, mostly because of these 17 national labs that are out there involved in everything from cybersecurity to the next wave of small modular reactors to, you know, just the most fascinating new things that are going to be on the horizon for America. Our national labs are involved in it. Secretary, thank you for your leadership. You're welcome. Good to see you. Secretary Rick Perry will be